Noo-Noo was really cosplaying as Ghetto. Before I looked at it as, okay, she wants to be this way and this is her, but she has to put on a mask around her father and at her prep school. But I realized the real mask she had on was the mask when she would go to Cascade, when she would be around Rashad and them and the twins. That was the mask. She put the accent all the way on, like, put it on. What's wrong with y'all?
Rashad, I'm sorry.
She was like, the only thing different about me is my address. No. Where the accent go, where the outfits go. You're a whole different person. Esquire, that befitted him. The only thing different was his address. That's literally the only thing different about him. He's always wanted to be this way. He's always been studious. And he's displayed that.
Christ's love isn't like everybody else's love. It's not like the world's love. The world's love loves you when you do things right or when you do things with them. But as soon as you make a mistake, they take that love away. But what I've experienced with the love of Christ is that it loves first. It loves through wrongdoing. It loves when you shouldn't be loved anymore. It's unconditional. And that's the love that I believe is going to change the world and has changed me.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Micaiah. I'm back and I'm black and I'm back and I'm black and I'm back and I'm black and I'm back and I'm black.
Sasha here. Excuse me? Supermodels do not fly business class. Now, I'm not gonna demand a private jet, but I think Jag could at least spring for first class.
And today I am bringing you all another video blasting back to the past in the early 2000s. And I'll be touching on an aspect from a movie titled ATL. If you know, you know. I went back and I was watching this film maybe about a few weeks ago. And it made me realize how much the film doesn't hit the same for me as it once did when I was a child. However, if you're not new to this channel and you see my intro, then you know that I have Noo-Noo on my intro. I grew up on the outskirts of Atlanta, but this movie was very close to my heart, especially because it represented where I was from and kind of that essence of how Georgia was at that time. Georgia's just not the same as it once was. That's another topic for another day. But I want to touch on how when I was really looking at this, and before I would be like, okay, I kind of understand why Noo-Noo did it, da-da-da. Like I was getting it on both sides. And then me watching it with an older lens, it was like she was really cosplaying as Ghetto. She was cosplaying as Ghetto. She was not being herself. She was putting on a performance so that she could be down, quote unquote, or so that she could fit in. Because at first when I was looking at it, I'm like, okay, this was her true self when I was younger. But it really wasn't, because she was talking regular and fine with her father. I think it's past code switching. I think she was trying to be something that she was not. And I wish that she could have seen that two worlds could have existed. They would have accepted you without you doing all the extra antics. But before I dive deeper into my thoughts and perspectives, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to see more of me. And if you're new, hey, and if you're a returner, I really, truly appreciate the love. If you get the chance, please check out my social media platforms down within the description box and on the screen, where I display my passion for fashion along with other interests that I have. For all who are new, you should know I do an array of topics. I am extremely diverse. I do more nerdy topics, I do nostalgic topics, and I do more conscious topics. Plus, I dibble and dabble within vlogs, so we do a little bit of everything around here. I'm your girl. Hit that subscribe button. So let's get back into the video. But yeah, watching it with an older lens, it was very hard for me to empathize with Noo-Noo, because I think she brought this all on herself. Now, was Rashad being very dramatic? He was being extremely dramatic. He ain't had to snatch the girl's chain now. But I didn't understand why she put on the performance, because I believe that people would have accepted her if she would have came in just being herself. Of course, they probably would have clowned her and played around and been like, oh, you're a rich girl, da-da, all that. That comes with it. Other people were clowned as well. However, it just was like, you did the most and cosplayed and put on this performance just to be down. And to me, it wasn't a coincidence. I could be reading into this deeper as to why she befriended the twins as well. I don't know if that boosted her confidence with her being around the twins. Like, she was kind of like this leader and they were like her sidekicks. I don't know. I still like Noo-Noo, don't get me wrong. I do like Noo-Noo. Clearly, that movie will be special to me because of me growing up in Georgia. However, as I'm peeling back the onion, I'm seeing a lot of flaws within Noo-Noo's character now that I have an older lens and I'm more mature. And I'm like, she didn't hit the way she hit when I was younger. I don't know if I'm the only person, but it's just, it's the seasoning's just not there as it once was, because I'm like, this is not even her being herself. Before, I looked at it as, okay, she wants to be this way and this is her, but she has to put on a mask around her father and at her prep school. But I realized the real mask she had on was the mask when she would go to Cascade, when she would be around Rashad and them and the twins. That was the mask. That really was the mask. And like I said, as a child, at least I didn't see it that way. But now I'm like, it wasn't clear who you were. And I don't even think you're sure about who you are, because you're putting on a performance. You're cosplaying as Ghetto. You're cosplaying as this persona that you're not. So the true person is the way you grew up. And yeah, your father grew up there in the hood, but you didn't grow up there. So you want to assimilate and fit in with that crowd, so you display to them what you think they'll accept. And it was very deceiving. It was very deceiving. Like I said, I am looking at Noo-Noo very, very differently in my older days. Don't get me wrong. She's still iconic, but she was performing. She was gaining an identity just to be accepted. And she would do the same thing when she played, I think she played tennis or something. Yeah, tennis as well. She would do the same thing around those people. She would put on this mask. And it comes to a point you don't even really know who you are. And I think the real person deep down is that individual, the one who is sweet and all of that, and the one who grew up in prep school and all that. Because even when she showed up to Rashad's house to apologize, she didn't have this accent on. Like, she put the accent all the way on. Like, put it on. I gotta show you. Like, put the accent all the way on.
What's wrong with y'all?
Rashad, I'm sorry.
And she was really cosplaying, like really, really cosplaying. It was like she was really performing. And do I really want one of my favorite characters to be someone who deceived people? And that's what it is. Like I said, you can still appreciate it with us unpacking this movie, because there's a lot of different issues in this movie. However, I think with Noo-Noo, it really just mind boggled, and it was like a click for me when I was watching it. Now I haven't watched it in years, and I'm like, she was cosplaying as Ghetto. She really was. This wasn't even her. Where'd the accent go? Where'd everything go? Where the outfits go? Where the extra looks go? You came to Rashad's with a t-shirt on, looking regular, no extraness and all of that. I think, like I said, I believe she would have gotten a better response if she would have just led with being herself. Of course, maybe the twins wouldn't have hung around her if she was being herself. But hey, at least you can say you were being yourself and you found the right crowd that would accept you, not putting on this performance. So Rashad was attracted to the image you gave to him. So like, I'm understanding even Rashad's perspective, because when I was younger, I'm like, it was dramatic. It was a little dramatic with him snatching the chain. However, she really did lie. She put on this whole performance like, is this really you? Is this the true you? Is this the true persona? She was like, the only thing different about me is my address. No. Where the accent go? Where the outfits go? You're a whole different person. You still in it. You ain't gotta steal. You have money. You're trying to assimilate. You're trying to conform. You're trying to fit in. And at the same point, even at the end of the movie, I'm like, it's not even clear to me who she is. So I'm happy that Rashad was able to move forward from that. And it's a movie, clearly, so they're not going to show us the process of that. But it's like, I see Rashad's perspective more as I'm watching this with an older lens, and that's kind of crazy for me to say. And I think the person who really was who they said they were when it comes to this was Esquire. How she tried to call him out and all of that. I think Esquire, that befitted him. The only thing different was his address. That's literally the only thing different about him. He's always wanted to be this way. He's always been studious, and he's displayed that through and through. The only difference is that he didn't say where he lived. that was befitting to him. And I think with him, I kind of understood why he didn't want to give the whole pie because of the bias that the father had. And I understood why he was hesitant to tell Rashad, because this could affect his future. I feel like Noo-Noo really had no excuse to really hide this, but I think Esquire, I kind of empathized with him and understood as me being like a studious person and taking my studies very serious, especially when I was in undergrad and with my master's. Like, I understand that, and there can be a certain stigma when it comes to your image and how you are and where you're from for a lot of people. It's unfortunate, but people come in with their bias. So I understand why he didn't do it, not justifying it, but I understand. So for me, he was the one that was just not telling the whole piece of the pie, but that was still who he was. So when Noo-Noo was trying to go in on him, to me, it really didn't make no sense, because it's like, girl, you're the one being fake. He's not being fake. The only difference is that he doesn't live where he said he lives. That's the difference. He went to school where he said he went to school at. He really was studious. He really was on top of things. That's the difference. He was really working hard so that he can get into school and all of that. You're the one trying to run away from who you are because you're trying to run after something that you're not. And that's the difference. And I'm like, I still stand by this. I don't think Rashad should have gave Esquire the same cold shoulder and cutting him off like that as he did with Noo-Noo. I get him being upset that he didn't tell him. I get it. However, I still would have looked at it differently because of the circumstances, and you have to understand that. I'm not saying it's okay, but I don't think their situation was on the same level. So I think there should have been a certain level of grace given to Esquire, and Esquire was going to tell him, but I just think how the cookie crumbled and everything, it just... And Noo-Noo should have told him when they went to that skating ring with that older people night, like old folks night as they like to call it. She should have told him that night. He said he don't want to hear no bad news. So maybe people could say that was his fault too, because he ain't let her get it out. But anyways, people should have just been themselves up front, from the jump, and Noo-Noo was cosplaying, period. But I'm interested to knowing you all's thoughts and perspectives on the matter. Did you like ATL? Do you have a different perspective now that you're older regarding it? It's not as good as it was for me when I was younger. I guess it doesn't hold the same weight and value to me as it did when I was younger. However, it still is a gem in my book, especially with that time period and just Georgia at that time. That was just like everything. But what's your thoughts on Noo-Noo, Esquire, Rashad? I'm interested to knowing all of your perspective, because I'd never heard this before, but it's like she was really cosplaying as Ghetto. She was literally cosplaying as Ghetto. She had a costume on. She put it on. She said, here, this is how I'm going to act when I'm around them, and this is how I'm going to act when I'm around them. This was beyond code switching, okay? This was beyond code switching. This was beyond code switching, okay? Noo-Noo was a mess. That's all I'm gonna say. She was a mess. She was a mess. But please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. And as I stated, please leave your thoughts and perspectives on the matter. But as I always state, let's be respectful down within the comment section. I want you all to remember that you are wonderfully made by the God who created the universe. He made you for such a special purpose. He handpicked you, and you were destined to be here. So I'm so thankful for you sharing this moment, and I can't wait to check you all out in the next video. Stay blessed, everyone.